So you just bought your 40, 50, $60,000 Jeep Gladiator. What can you do to protect it? I mean, I know it's an off-road vehicle, and if you use it as intended, it might get a little scratched up. But why not do what you can to preserve it and stop as much of that from happening? Number one, the bed liner. If your Jeep Gladiator did not come with a bed liner, you definitely need to put one in. And I'm talking about the spray-in type. It's the best you can get. It shouldn't cost more than 300 to 400 bucks, something like that. And by the way, I would have it professionally done. I just wouldn't watch them do it because they kind of scuff up the metal on the bed and stuff before they do it. Not a pretty sight. But once they're done, it looks nice and shiny, and most importantly, it's protected. Number two, a bed mat. Now, let me preface this right off by saying you should get one that's fairly heavy. I bought this one. It was relatively cheap. You can see it is pretty thin. Now, it will do the job. It will protect the bed liner, the spray-in liner, from getting scuffed up and scratched off or whatever. But the problem with it is if you don't have anything in here, it can blow out. That's why you see the cross bungee cords that I have in here to stop that from happening. Nothing like having a bed liner also, or a bed mat I should say, to stop things from sliding around all over the place. These liners are pretty slippery. This helps out a heck of a lot. Number three, the tailgate. Do you know how much it costs to replace one of those if somebody steals it? Upwards of 3,000 bucks. Unless you buy one on eBay or something, which is probably yours for about $9.50. There is a simple way, a deterrent that you can install that'll cost you about $2. It's a simple hose clamp rather, over the slot where the tailgate pulls out. And if you didn't know, all you have to do to remove this tailgate is snip these two little wire holders and then tilt the tailgate up and it pulls straight out. Pretty simple to take, and any thief that does that is not going to be concerned about your wiring back here. They're probably going to just rip it out when they take off with your tailgate. A pretty simple thing to do, doesn't cost you hardly anything. Of course, it is a deterrent, I realize. If somebody really wants to steal your tailgate, I don't care what you do to it, unless you have a 150-pound Rottweiler sitting in your bed. I saw a picture recently. Some guy had this great big dog. It wasn't a Rottweiler, but it was one of those fierce-looking dogs sitting in the back of their truck. Nobody's going to mess with that. Next up, mud flaps. Now, I know what you're going to say right off. Well, Rob, you don't have mud flaps on your Jeep. Well, it's because I don't like the looks of them. I'm not disputing they have value, of course. They'll keep things from shooting up across your paint. And who wants to have the paint ruined by something like little tiny rocks, right? Mud flaps will take care of that, particularly if you've gone with a little bit of wheel poke on the tires. Probably a must. I went with the next best thing. I went with a running board. Not because I love running boards, really, because my wife wanted them, but they also keep the rocks and things from coming off most of the bottom of your tires. They cover almost all of the tread and slamming into your paint across the back, particularly your fender back here. Always a good thing to have to protect the paint on the truck. Next up, number 5, seat protectant of some kind. You would think, and you can see right here, we've got a little bit of discoloration. I don't know what it is. It never fails. There's always something in the seats in these trucks. I think that just having your legs against it when it's hot and you're sweating outside can discolor your seats. There's two things, and I haven't obviously done it on my Jeep yet. One is that Scotch-Brite upholstery protectant. It works really, really well. A can will cost you, I don't know, it's like 11 to 15 bucks, something like that. You spray it on, you let it dry, and it stops things like that from happening. The second, probably best way, are seat covers. There's a lot of really good looking seat covers out there now. There are many different brands and, of course, a myriad of prices that you can pay for them. Obviously, if you have pets, maybe big dogs, even little dogs, in your Jeep, you want to protect those cloth seats, or even leather if you happen to have leather. What about the little ones, the kitties? You know they like to make messes in your truck, right? Save yourself the frustration. Put some sort of seat protectant in there, whether it's a seat cover or that Scotch-Brite, as I mentioned. Next up, door sill protection. A lot of the Jeeps these days come just plain without anything in here, right? It's horrible. When you get in and out of the truck, inevitably, your feet, your shoes scrape across that door sill area. And it's not long before the paint is scratched. And really, if you're looking for them, the best kind are the ones that kind of wrap around the edge right here. Because even with what I have that protects the flat surface of the door sill, you still have this painted area here that's going to take a brunt of the scratches and things if you're getting in and out of the truck and rubbing your feet against there. And let's face it, who doesn't do that? I mean, look at the rubbing over here just from me getting in and out of the truck. And I try not to do it. In the back, it's probably even worse because you have obviously a tighter area to get into the truck, right? So you're going to be kind of fumbling around trying to get in this narrow opening and putting your feet wherever you can. A really good idea to have them in the back as well, just to protect that area from scratches and things. And you know, eventually, if it scratches down below the paint level, you're going to start to get rust. Could you imagine having rusted sills in your $40,000 to $60,000 truck, particularly when it's brand new? No way. Now, I'm going to throw in a kind of a bonus, number 7, if you will. And this really serves two purposes. And I'm talking about window tint. The sun is intense, particularly if you live somewhere like I do in South Texas, where it's bright sunshine most of the time beating into your truck. This helps cut down on breakdown, I guess, of the materials inside. The plastics, the seats, stops them from fading, or at least helps. Best is to go ahead and put some sort of film on your windshield, and I'm talking about a clear film. I wouldn't put any tint on the windshield. I know a lot of people do that. It's not for me, but it would be a good way to go to knock down the UV rays coming in the truck. And the second benefit is the sun reduction for you when you're sitting inside. It always amazes me when I first get a vehicle, and of course I don't have tint on the windows, how hot it is inside the truck just from the sun beating in on the sides, and how bright it is when you go to look out the window, for instance, if you're changing lanes somewhere. Much more comfortable ride, and probably safer if you're not steering into the sun or staring into the sun while you're trying to merge at 65 or 80 miles an hour onto the freeway. Anyway, those are just a few things that you can do or add to the Gladiator to protect it. Highly recommend those. I have every one of them on mine, minus the mud flaps, of course. But I do have that running board. Leave a comment. Let me know if you agree or if I've missed anything. I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.